Hi, this is David Myrland. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Take from Caesar. A very nice, short, sweet summary given by the next two testimonials. One is a revisitation of the Drive-By Litigation testimonial with T. Darling, caller on the American Liberties Talk Show Hour, and another caller, the feature of the capital offense in Kentucky, Happy Doc #1 video here on Take from Caesar. Both of those folks appeared on the same conference call. I had no idea who's going to show up, and both of them happened to show up, and what's happening is very intriguing. In California, T. Darling apparently has caused a bunch of public servants to quit their jobs and discovered that licensed therapists were pretending to be licensed medical practitioners and issuing illegal subscriptions and making illegal evaluations of mental health. That's in California. And then in Kentucky, he says he's 10 days away from speedy trial rights expiring, and the court just took away his public defender. That's either in hopes that he now has to waive rights to speedy trial just so he can get his own attorney, or maybe the government's punting on his indictment for 7 counts of tax evasion, state income tax in Kentucky. So very interesting. Listen to the comments of these two. One's a student and one's kind of like a satellite client for consultation. I wrote the criminal complaint for him to file in Kentucky, and what he's done with it since is interesting. Anyway, enjoy the two testimonials, and I'll see you on the next Take from Caesar tutorial. A reminder on my YouTube channel that this call would occur. How many people do you have?
I have, I'll tell you in a minute, I have T. Darling waiting to get talking, but I'll tell you in just a minute. Go ahead.
Okay, put her on.
Okay. Hi, T.
Hi, Dave. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So, my posture, to answer your question, my posture, Dave, is total offense now. I pretty much use every single thing they use against me, against them. So you remember back in the beginning when I first found out about the criminal complaint process, and I did 4, because they did 4 cases against me at once. So I filed a criminal complaint in each case all at once. They sent my case back to arraignment, and when they sent it back to arraignment, of course, speedy trial rights expired. So they were trying to get me to consent to a trial. And it gets pretty scary and intimidating, you know. I think I had called you afterward, or I asked a couple more questions afterwards, you know, like, what do you do? And, you know, you said, file another criminal complaint. So that's what, that's what I just, now I just do it automatically, you know, now it's fabulous. But anyway, so they, because I've refused to consent to the setting of a trial that was beyond the statute of limitations, they held this private hearing. They called it a Marsden motion, and they said, yeah, she's mentally incompetent. We're going to order her to go see a doctor. And luckily for me, I used to have a job in the medical field. So understanding medical rights and patients' rights to medical care is totally my expertise. So they were speaking my language now, finally, in a way that I could understand legalese to explain what they're doing to people. And I got them. I mean, I got them on this whole scheme of impersonating doctors, using the word doctor to make a therapist look like she's a physician who can give medical advice, who can actually prescribe medicine to treat someone.
Wow.
To prescribe, to say that you're incompetent. The fact is, and for anyone out there listening today, if the judge ever tells you, or anyone ever tells you, you're insane or you need a mental eval, that's practicing medicine without a license. Okay? Because only a physician can say those words. You're mentally insane. Only a doctor can. He can prescribe medicine. So he can prescribe the method of treatment. And I busted it wide open. They even scheduled my appointment with this idiot therapist, who likes to call herself a doctor. I was calling herself a therapist in the courtroom. You should have seen the people looking like everyone just was like, oh my God, how does she know that? I object, statements of fact not supported by evidence. I mean, it was beautiful. But anyway, the criminal complaint is really where you get to say what you want to say. You can't say any of that stuff in court. You can say it in the criminal complaint, tell them exactly the crime they're committing, and there's nothing they can do. All they can do is run from it. And what was that? That was February 16th. My hearing on this doctor appointment thing is Friday, May 11th. And that public defender just resigned. So I feel really good going in for my hearing on Friday.
Okay, point of order. Since I made those courses, in fact, very recently, just last September, I put those specific blocks in order that if somebody without lawful authority conspires with somebody else to deprive you of your liberty,
mm-hmm.
That's a Section 241, conspiracy against rights, and Section 1201, kidnapping.
Yes,
Section
I have those
241, Section 241 says it carries the death penalty. Have you stated that?
Yes, I have. That was
good,
on this
good,
one.
good.
And,
Okay.
and the DOJ,
Great.
I even did the secret FBI complaint, and then I attached the DOJ cover letter attaching the FBI complaint, saying investigate. I want an criminal investigation. And since then, he's not the only one to resign. Actually, the school superintendent and the co-superintendent, they resigned. The Department of Child Support Services director, she resigned. Actually, I think she was fired. It doesn't even say she was resigned. They just have an acting director now. The warrant that they had out for my arrest got dismissed in the interest of justice. A warrant that I didn't even know they had this warrant out, Dave. This is how insane this nonsense is. But anyway, filing my stuff, the next thing I know, I get an order from the court saying the warrant is dismissed in the interest of justice. And that was scary and relieving all at the same time, to know that they actually had this illegal warrant out there somewhere just waiting for me,
Uh-huh.
And
evidence of the conspiracy.
Yep. It sure was.
Here's what I would do. Hang on. Here's what I would do is take that order and then supplement the criminal complaint in which I mentioned kidnapping and the death penalty.
Okay.
And call it a supplemental briefing or supplemental submission of evidence and offer of proof in support of the complaint that I filed back in February, whatever. And fabulous work.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, it's been a lot of work. And you said this is on the WeedyGov. You just put it on there for the
on the. Go ahead. What?
For the kidnapping.
What was it I suggested?
You said you suggested I do a supplemental.
No, it's nowhere in the work. Just write up a paragraph or two saying,
oh, gotcha.
Back on such and such a date, I filed a criminal complaint. I want to supplement that with new evidence of the conspiracy to kidnap me.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect. And that'll get you a birthday card.
Excuse me. Let me interrupt a second. Let me interrupt. Was that link back trial brief.pdf or back trial?
Yes. BACKTRIALBRIEF.PDF.
Sorry, everybody. Just add brief to the link. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to.
Go ahead.
So I just wanted to let everyone out there know the drive-by litigation will save you. It truly can save you. It's an immersion into legalese or the legal realm, I guess. It's definitely an immersion. Dave's stuff definitely just submerges you right into it, but it's the best way to learn, and you learn how to get out of it quick, and you find your relief and you find your remedies, and it just teaches you how to fight back, because you can't fight back in court. You can't fight back when they're doing that stuff to you. I mean, you're victimized, and the only way to fight back
is you can't be a defendant. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. So thank you, Dave.
That's wonderful. It's my pleasure. It's what I'm in this for. Right on. And for anybody listening, I haven't written any documents for her. She consulted with me a couple of times. The rest is her work with just my drive-by litigation course. It's I pitch it as the nastiest I can be, using just what the system provides, because I'm not a prosecutor, but I can get it to where the corruption of the judge is the only thing standing between that public servant and handcuffs. And everybody should learn it. Whether or not I can convince you to learn it. I'm not a salesman. I'm not going to sit here and say you need this. I'm going to sit here and say, you just heard it again. What does it take? And if it takes more than that, I just don't know if we can help you. But there's another example of somebody taking the government to task and costing people their jobs. Right on. It's a good day.
Well, thank you,
Thank you,
darling. I really appreciate it. You're a good example to follow. That's for sure. Go ahead, Skills.
Yes.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hi.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave and Chappie. I was going to give you a shout, let you know that the last time I was in court, fighting over the 7 charges that are against me, I brought something up to the court, and the prosecutor had to answer it, and he advised me that I should not.
Hang on.
Hold on a minute.
Just hold on a second. State court, federal court, what are we talking about?
State court. Happy document. That's me.
Is this that rooftop sniper case?
No.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, state court. I'm facing 7 felony charges. And
okay,
Kentucky,
I know who you are.
Yes. You did a criminal complaint for me. We filed it with the FBI, the DOJ.
Folks, hang on. For anybody on the call, go to my YouTube channel and watch the video. The black screen for the little black photograph that you read there for the title of the video, it says Happy Doc #1 capital offense in Kentucky. That video is about this man's criminal complaint. Go ahead.
Well, the last time
you were in court.
In court, I had brought something up, and the prosecutor had to answer it, and the prosecutor turned around after he slightly answered, not even gave a real answer, but he said, you should not be threatening people with the death penalty. Now, he brought this up in court. He's the prosecutor. Would you not think that he should bring charges against me for that? No. Hang on. What that proves is that you scared the hell out of him, but the most he can say is that. Yes. Okay. Now. Okay. That's what I'm getting at. Where you have him is he can't deny what you said in the complaint, and a conspiracy that includes an attempted or actual kidnapping carries the death penalty. Here's what I would have said. Congress is talking about it. It's not me. And so you better go arrest Congress. You better go to Congress and bitch at them over the death penalty, because it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with whether or not the state has a case against you. And you're absolutely right, but I was not quick-wit at the time. And I was told I should have said that, and if that case comes back at me, I will do the same. But I also here in Kentucky, most places they have either 90 days or 120 days to bring you to trial. Here in Kentucky, it's 180 days. I'm 10 days from them violating my speedy trial rights.
Okay. I want to back up for a second. If I knew that Congress had provided for the death penalty, it has nothing to do with me, and they said that something like that to me, by saying something like that, it can only lead to criminal charges. You got a prosecutor saying that you threatened somebody, him or otherwise, and so I would probably put it on the court record. If he said that to me, you shouldn't be threatening people with a death penalty. Your Honor, let the record reflect that the prosecutor's threatening me with malicious prosecution for another crime I didn't commit. He's calling something a threat. It came from Congress. What's that got to do with me? And stick him right in the judge's face with it. It's like the neighbor coming over with your dog saying, he was in our yard, he dug up all our flowers. You know, there's nowhere to run from it. Just let the record reflect the prosecutor's threatening me with a malicious prosecution.
It is on the record.
It's right there on the official court record now. Then it'll be in the transcript. You order the transcript, and you start throwing that around in the prosecutor's favor. Anyway, you got 10 days, but what was this hearing about, and why is it taking them so long?
This is just a status hearing, and because of the criminal complaint, the affidavits that we have put through for ineffective assistance of counsel, they have removed my public defender from me and has given me some time to find a new attorney. And this is just a status hearing. This is all this is. This whenever I go back to court.
Well, hang on here. In relation to speedy trial rights, and we've been over this, there are what's called excludable days. And when they're hearing motions or whatever, it can put your speedy trial rights on hold for 30 days until the motion's heard. Then it starts going again. So there's going to be includable days in calculation of your speedy trial rights and excludable days. And so you really need to get a close examination of what days may or may not be excludable before you bargain that you have 10 days. Now, let's say it is 10 days. Let's say it's 20 days. Look at all the stuff they still have to do in 20 days to get you to trial. They got to impanel a jury and whatever else they have to do. There's a lot into going to trial on tax evasion. They have to organize the witnesses and figure out what to ask them all. And if they only have 10 days to do that, that's kind of funny. Back to the criminal complaint. This was the first criminal complaint I wrote alleging a violation of 241 and attempted kidnapping and the death penalty. It's for the case you'll see in the video, Happy Doc number 1, capital offense in Kentucky. Great video, if I do say so myself. This is a wonderful legal accusation. And he called me on like Monday, as I recall, September 4th, and the following day had this complaint from me and then filed it against the prosecutor and the judge, the prosecutor, the inspector from the Department of Revenue for Kentucky, and the Director of Revenue for Kentucky, Daniel P. Bork. And he filed that criminal complaint for the death penalty against him with the federal government and then served him with copies of it. And and now let's hear it from the litigant himself. How do you feel, positively or negatively, has the criminal complaint affected the proceedings?
They have pretty much stopped them. It's just a formality now. I think they're after they got the criminal complaint, and then they also got we filed the joiner to Congress into our case file. I think they pretty much, all they're doing right now is waiting for the speedy trial rights to run out, and for me to bring that up. They're not going to answer anything, and I know, talking to you, going over Silkman and my public defender whenever she wanted to listen, between the criminal complaint, Silkman, and all of this, I think they've figured out that there's no way around it, because we can bring Section 83 up in a criminal trial. They may have to kick the jury out, but the judge has to put it on trial or on court record when it's brought up, and I think they're wanting to run from it. So the criminal complaint is where it was at to start out with.
And this is because Section 83 is adopted by Kentucky state